We compiled a top 10 list of our most anticipated horror films in 2019. Here are the frightening films we're most excited about in order of theatrical release. 2019 is looking pretty scary. Us. In 2017, Jordan Peele redefined the horror thriller with his directorial debut, Get Out. This year, he goes full-on horror with his follow-up, Us. The opening night film at South by Southwest stars Black Panther's Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o, reunited as a married couple with kids who encounter evil doppelgangers of themselves. The breakout success of Get Out made Jordan Peele one of the hottest new directors to watch. The cast, rounded out by Elizabeth Moss of The Handmaid's Tale and an eerie trailer complete with a throwback remix of Looney's I Got Five on It, has us dying to see it when it opens on March 22nd.
What are you people?
It's us.
Pet Sematary. Mary Lambert's 1989 Pet Sematary made us think twice about burying Fido in the backyard. And in April, Starry Eyes directors Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Weidmeyer will try to do the same. The directing duo will close out South by Southwest with the premiere of their take on Stephen King's horror classic, starring Jason Clarke and Amy Seimetz as the unsuspecting couple who move to a sleepy town in Maine with their children and discover a mysterious burial ground behind their home. With John Lithgow on hand, this is one of the more exciting Stephen King movies we've got coming down the pipeline. The Curse of La Llorona. This new horror film centers on the Latin American folk legend La Llorona, the spirit of a weeping woman whose cries bring misfortune to anyone who hears her. Set in 1970s Los Angeles, the film stars Linda Cardellini as a social worker who ignores the warnings of a troubled mother and discovers she and her family may be the target of supernatural evil. James Wan, the genius behind Saw and The Conjuring, is in the producer's chair. This film should provide a fresh cultural twist on the traditional ghost story when it opens on April 19th. Child's Play.
Chucky?
Director Lars Klevberg updates this 80s horror classic for the 21st century, complete with a new take on the killer doll Chucky. This time around, a young mother, played by Aubrey Plaza, gifts her son a high-tech Buddy doll without realizing the toy isn't exactly kid-friendly. Ditching the voodoo storyline, this remake goes full Black Mirror as Buddy rejects his programming and develops a mean streak. Original Child's Play creator Don Mancini is apparently not a fan of this new concept, but the franchise hasn't aged well, and an updated reboot with Plaza and Red Hot star Brian Tyree Henry could be exactly what it needs. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Executive producer and horror master Guillermo del Toro selected fellow monster lover Andre Overdahl as the man to lead an adaptation of this popular children's book series. The film combines multiple stories telling the tale of a group of kids who must unravel the mystery behind a wave of horrific deaths. A longtime passion project for Del Toro, even casual fans will agree he's got a keen eye for terrifying imagery. Judging from the early glimpses we've gotten, the Shape of Water director and Overdahl have nailed the look and feel of the books, so prepare to relive your childhood trauma August 9th. Midsommar. Ari Aster, writer-director of the insane horror film Hereditary, is back in the director's chair to terrorize us with a new nightmare. It features Lady Macbeth's Florence Pugh and Will Poulter from Bandersnatch as a couple who travel to a quaint Swedish village only to be trapped in a bizarre and dangerous competition with a pagan cult. We're getting some serious Wicker Man vibes from this one, and we ain't talking about the Nick Cage, not the bees!
Not the bees! Ah!
Midsommar should be another atmospheric chiller with some good freak-out moments. See it in theaters August 9th. It, Chapter 2. The second Stephen King adaptation on our list, Andy Muschietti returns to direct the sequel of 2017's It. Bill Skarsgård is back as Pennywise, and the adult cast is rounded out by some heavy hitters: Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, and Bill Hader, who has said Skarsgård's Pennywise is even scarier in person. It Chapter 2 picks up 27 years after the Losers Club faced off against Pennywise the Clown. Now they're all grown up and ready to return home for the final showdown. It Chapter 2 is arguably the most anticipated horror film of the year, and it's in theaters September 6th. Dr. Sleep. That's right, it's Stephen King yet again, but this time we finally get a sequel to The Shining. Dr. Sleep stars Ewan McGregor as a grown-up Danny Torrance who uses The Shining to help rescue other children from a cult called the True Knot. Director Mike Flanagan has made a name for himself on movies like Oculus, Ouija: Origin of Evil, as well as Netflix's The Haunting of Hill House series. Ewan McGregor is joined by Rebecca Ferguson and Jacob Tremblay. Dr. Sleep is in theaters November 8th. The Lighthouse. It's taken a few years, but director Robert Eggers finally comes through with a follow-up to his critically acclaimed 2016 horror film, The Witch. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson lead this 1890s period tale based on seafaring myths about an aging lighthouse keeper named Old. Shot on 35mm black and white film stock and using 1920s and 1940s camera equipment, both Dafoe and Pattinson have described how excruciating and wet it was during filming, which all means that The Lighthouse could feel like a throwback to old-school horror filmmaking. It's currently set to release sometime in 2019. Little Monsters. Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o plays schoolteacher Miss Caroline, who takes her class on a field trip to a farm close to a military experiment. While there, a zombie outbreak occurs and Miss Caroline must save herself and her students. Early reviews out of its Sundance premiere praised Nyong'o's commitment to a role that could have felt silly coming from someone else. No release date as of yet, but Little Monsters looks to make another strong case for Nyong'o being crowned our next Scream Queen. What does your most anticipated horror list of 2019 look like? Let us know in the comments.